I'm gonna be real with you. Kemba Walker is probably my favorite underdog in all of sports. I like with how small he is, everything that he's overcome to get to where he is right now. Like I don't know. I've been impressed. I've been way more than impressed just watching him get to where he is now. And like when I really started watching college basketball, that's when Kemba made his run. And if you don't know Kemba's run, man, let me tell you, man, this dude was elite. He still is elite. And that's why I have him on the list. How you guys doing? It is Friday, July 17th, 2020 out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and right now I'm gonna do a profile on Kemba Walker, the 30-year-old point guard who for the Boston Celtics, who stands at 6 foot, 184 pounds. If you kind of see him, you'll see like he's kind of small, but his handles are really impressive. He has incredible court vision. He can shoot. He has incredible deep range, and he has ice. He has edge. He has the complete package, and someone that you want leading like such a deep team like the Boston Celtics. Of course, it'll be Jason Tatum's team eventually, but up until then, I like that Kemba. They're easing the transition, but Kemba Walker so doing what he's doing, getting his buckets, and since he's been an All Star, he hasn't stopped. He's definitely he's definitely exceeded his expectations put on him since he came out of UConn. But without further ado, I'm gonna give you a little bit of background. Of course, Bronx kid eventually got recruited to go play at UConn, where in his junior year he would go on to make one of the most impressive college basketball tourney runs in NCAA history. Naturally, that year that season he finished with 23 and a half points a game, averaging 4.5 assists, 5.4 rebounds, shooting 43% from the field, shooting 33% from three, but he was taking the big shots. UConn, they weren't that strong of a team where they were in a situation where they had to win their conference. They had to win the Big East in order to make it to the tourney. Once they made it to the tourney, they went on to win the entire national championship. Kemba Walker won the most outstanding player. I mean, they were national champions with nine losses on their schedule. Jim Calhoun went down with a 32-9 season, probably one of the most impressive season I've ever seen Kentucky play, at least in my lifetime. That's why Kemba's always kind of goated to me. I always really, really kind of like Kemba because he led that team to a championship, and I'm like, wow, like this you can actually get to the NBA and help a team win. So I mean, I guess in college, like I said, he was good enough of a prospect to get himself drafted ninth overall in the 2011 draft by the Charlotte Bobcats, owned by Michael Jordan, who are now at this very moment the Charlotte Hornets. And of course, knowing the Charlotte Hornets, knowing their dreadful history, you know that they were not a very winning basketball team. But of course, Kemba got to where he is now. His first couple years in the league, he would go on to play every single game of the season for the first couple seasons as Charlotte was bombing at the bottom. First couple years, the first year he was there, they finished with a 7-59 record on the season. The next year they were 21-61, and of course that's not him. That's just simply the Charlotte Hornets. They were that bad at the time. But of course, like nothing, he wouldn't earn his first All Star until 2016-2017, until his age 26 season, where once again Charlotte would miss the playoffs, but he would finish the season with are averaging 23 points a game, 4 rebounds, 5.5 assists a game, shooting 44 from the field, shooting 40% from three, and shooting 85% from the line. But it was the first All Star game that he clinched, so he was actually being recognized for his talent. And many people could say it is because he's in the East, but he still that was the first All Star game that he clinched, and he was really kind of setting himself up as a talented player. The second time he won an All Star the next year, 2017-18, his age 27 season, he went on to play. He started all 80 games he played in. He finished with 22 points on the season, 3 rebounds, 5.6 assists in his encore season in Charlotte. And his first All Star game wasn't a fluke. And I remember when people were starting to show Kemba Walker some respect. And the next year in 2018-19, he would go on to start all 82 games for the Charlotte Hornets. in his last season, where he would go on and average 26 points on the season, finishing with 5.9 assists. And he was voted to be an All-Star starter for the first time in his career. And I remember it was really big because the All-Star game was in Charlotte in 2019. But at this point, Kemba Walker at 28 was a three-time All-Star. And that year he was named to the All-NBA third team. For someone being as small as he was in the underdog situation he was in. I mean, his first year playing in the league, his team only won 7 games. From getting to that to being a three-time All-Star and starting in the All-Star game in your city, to me, I think that's elite, especially for just considering his size and his situation. And then this past offseason, he was then moved to Boston, and where he is now the point guard for the Boston Celtics, who are now currently sitting at the 3 seed in the East, sitting 3 games behind the Raptors, 9.5 games behind the Milwaukee Bucks. But it looks as though they're set off to play against the 76ers in the first round, a team that they've been pretty solid against. And Kemba Walker's been doing his part as well. In the 50 games he's been playing, he averaged 21 points, 44.1 rebounds, 4.9 assists. I mean, as a slowly becoming Tatum's team, you can see Kemba Walker contributing here and there to help the Boston Celtics get to where they are. And you can see it as he clinched his 4th consecutive All-Star game. And if you're looking at where Kemba Walker is right now, looking at where he is as of July 17th, 2020, he is a 30-year-old point guard. At 6 foot, he made it. Like, think about all the 6-foot players that didn't make it to the NBA. He made it, and he's an All-Star. He's a 4-time All-Star, which should show how elite he is, just pound for pound. He's a player that brought UConn to the championship and won it in probably one of the most unique of ways. He gets to the NBA, starts off for the Charlotte Bobcats, plays for that organization, and now he earned his All-Stars out there. He goes to Boston in a winning situation where he's playing a big role on a team that could very well win championships that could win a championship in the next couple seasons. I like the position that he's in. Now he's and right now he's sitting with 4 All-Stars, an NCAA championship, by the way, he was recognized as an All-NBA third-team member. He was recognized as an NBA All-Star starter, all in the career that he's played from getting where he is now. And this is a guy who played 3 years in college, whereas most of these guys that aren't even making All-Star games, they never even considered going back and playing their second year. So I mean, I like the progressing arc of Kemba Walker as he's ascended through the ranks of college basketball and he's ascended through the ranks of the NBA, and now he's a starting point guard on a winning team. We'll see what happens in this situation. Thank you for listening to all 8.5 minutes of this. I really think Kemba Walker is I think he's a beast. You ever get a chance, look him up. He wears number 8 for the Boston Celtics, and depending on if the bubble continues to the playoffs and they don't cancel the season, if you do plan on watching a lot of NBA playoffs, get a chance to watch Kemba Walker on the Celtics, because you'll see how he impacts that team. And you can see, if you watch the Celtics, you can see that it's very clearly Jason Tatum, but you can't rule out what Kemba Walker does for that team. With that said, peace out. I wish you all well with everything going on. And yeah, check out my boy Kemba.